All right, guys, welcome back. Day number 29. Bit of Charlotte DeWitt in the background. So today's video, protein forward. Now we're almost at the end of the month. Technically it is the 1st of Feb, but we're still going to do another 2 more videos as it was 31 days in January, and we'd skipped a few because some SOB decided to hack my original account. So nonetheless, we're back, we're here, we'll try and fix that stuff as we go. Protein forward, what is it all about? Well, coincidentally, earlier today I did a post about 3 reasons why we should prioritize our protein and therefore be protein forward. And let's just keep it to those 3. There is a raft of other reasons, but again, this here does not make a difference whether you're vegan, pescatarian, paleo, keto, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't discriminate, unlike the rest of you who are fighting the wars over who produces the cow's biggest set of farts. What it's all about is protein forward is about putting your protein first. So if you were eating a meal, let's say it's a nice evenly spaced meal and it's got some protein, some carbohydrates, some veg and some fats mixed through it, then putting your protein forward means prioritize that. Now, some would take that to one extreme and say, eat that first. Don't eat anything else, just eat your protein first. However, you and I both know we like different tastes and textures in our mouth. But what I'm going to say to you is prioritize the protein first. So the first thing I'm going to eat is going to be my protein. I'm probably going to try and leave my carbs a little bit later, so therefore I'll go with my starchy veggies, because that's going to give me a bit of bulk and it's going to help with my microbiome, or that flora and fauna inside my gut, and it's also going to help, excuse the French, it's going to clean yourself out, and that's what you need, that to clean yourself out when you go and do number 2. So therefore my carbohydrates I might put off to a little bit later. Now if I am a person who is heavy into the energy requirements, in other words I am an athlete, and I think I'm an everyday athlete, but let's say that I am a full-on athlete, professional athlete, and I'm working my ticker off every single day, then I'm going to need to balance up, not only getting my protein in, but I'm going to I'm going to have to balance my carbohydrates in, because they are the first piece of fuel source that my body's going to draw upon, my glucose that comes from the carbohydrates. So again, delicate balance. But again, if I am the athlete and I'm in a sport where it requires explosiveness and that type of stuff, some strength, then I'm going to need my proteins to help build that muscle building. So that's the first thing that was on that list to say. Protein is a building block. It's a building block for that muscle building process, but also, and more importantly, particularly as we age, it's that building block that helps us retain the muscle that we have. We talked about sarcopenia. There's other sorts of penias and muscle washes that happens as we get older. We don't only lose our hair, actually I just shaved mine off, but nonetheless we need to prioritize the protein to keep whatever good muscle we've got, because it is, as we say, it is the tissue of longevity, and it's about time a lot of you out there started to understand that, because that then triggers the next thing. Yep, when I eat my protein I feel more satiated, right? And as I feel fuller. The example I gave on that post today was I've got a whole size takeaway large family size pizza from some fast food restaurant here in Australia. Starts with a D, you guys know what I mean. The other one starts with a P, but most people will sit down and consume one of them in whole and just think nothing of it. Nonetheless, they'll get gut distress, they'll do this, they might have diarrhea, but either way, and then they'll feel like crap the day or 2 later. However, if you're not, then maybe you're overeating it too much and your body's used to it anyway. But nonetheless, they'll eat a whole pizza. But if I put a whole cooked chicken, even a great barbecue chicken from our friends at Char Grilled Charlie's, because our friends happen to own that chain, then what you would see is most people would struggle. Most people will struggle to sit down and go through a whole cooked chicken. Even a half a chicken, after a while period of time, it gets a bit much. You've got to chew it, you've got to digest it. It makes you feel full and you will struggle to complete it. So it is that satiating factor of what protein will do. And it's not just chicken, but it's pretty much any sources of protein will do that. The third thing we put on the post, and we're going to leave it with this one, is we talked about, again, not sciencey, but what we call the thermic effect of food. In other words, when we consume food and we eat it, as we do as human beings, okay, it's not a science project, there is an amount of energy that our body needs to contribute to that process of not only chewing it, digesting it and breaking it down, but also to the process of absorbing and uptaking all those good micronutrients, as we call it, from those sources of food. And as it turns out, protein is one that has a higher thermic effect of food, meaning that when we eat it, our body's got to actually create the energy or use up some of that energy in the process of breaking it down. So for example, if I take 100 calories worth of protein in, the rule of thumb with protein is it's around a third of it, 20% to 30% of it, is used in the process of just trying to digest it and break it down. Therefore, we actually uptake probably only 60 to 70% of that. Things like carbohydrates are a little bit different. Things like fats, pretty much it's a 1-to-1. I take 100 grams, I get 100 grams worth because, excuse me, of how our body processes these things. So understanding that simply means that my body's going to have to work. My body's going to have to burn off some calories in the process of eating. So why not have it work for you? Go figure. So there's the 3 reasons. Now, protein forward simply means, as I said before, it's putting that forward. What that does also too is whenever I'm planning out my meals for the week, my first thought is, what is the source of protein? What is it? What is it going to do? And you know, the other things that we talk about, rules of 3, which is probably coming up in another episode, where we can talk about prioritizing them, putting them forward, and then building our other things around. So building our veggies around that to complement the protein. It's a bit like when I got wine and cheese. You know, I try to pick a wine to match the cheese, or I will try to pick a wine to match the palate of the dining that I'm going out to. You do that in a restaurant. Okay, what are you ordering, sir? I'm ordering a white fish. Okay, then this is the type of thing that you want to do. So forget that side of it, but just what are you doing? Well, I'm going to have my protein, and obviously I want something to supplement that there, so I want to put that forward. Now, from me to you, if you just did this, not for 7, 14, 28 days, if you took like 6 to 8 weeks and you simply said, I'm going to prioritize eating all of my protein needs first in every single meal, to the point that whenever I get full, I can always take my veggies, my carbs and my fats, and I can always shrink wrap them, put them in the fridge, and I can reheat them later, right? Don't chuck them away. I can also reheat them later, okay? Because then I can get those good fibrous things into my body. Now, if you did that and you cut out the junk food, the shit food, the highly processed, palatable crap, the stuff that you and I know sits in the packets in the middle aisles of the grocery shop. Yep, go, if you don't know how to shop, go and have a look. You typically find all your protein sources at one end, you'll find all your dairy and stuff at one end, and then you'll find right whack smack down in the middle, which is where you'll get caught all those highly palatable stuff mixed in between. I've got the chocolate here, and I've got my pasta here, and I've got my breads here, and they're all right dense in the middle of the shopping centre, where most people tend to spend their time. Also too, where all the other crap's at eye level to help you pick it. So therefore I'd shop around the outside first before I go into the middle. Hey, just a little tip. Try your protein forward, see what happens. Just eat that stuff. We'll talk about the rules of 3 and how we go 3 by 3 by 3, and therefore 3 by 3 by 3 is 27 different meal combinations for you to try to set your plate up. This stuff is not rocket science. This stuff doesn't need to be backed by science. This stuff has just been around for years and years and years. If you are either chasing weight loss, if you are chasing fat loss, you want to try and get a bit stronger, you want to try and recomposition your body, who cares whether you want to run 10Ks or not, doesn't make a difference. But if you just want to get yourself feeling a little bit better, not brain foggy, crappy, waking up feeling like shit, like you've had, then ditch all the crappy foods. And maybe just start with protein forward. See how that goes. That's it. Till tomorrow. We're going to be back to our regular posting schedules after this. If you want to know more, my name is Dom McStraw. I talk about live longer, stronger. I talk about playing the long game. That's simply because at 53, I can no longer afford not to pay attention to wanting to live a longer life, so that I can be around to harass the crap out of the kids and the grandkids as long as possible. Cheers.